Ivan, spring has sprung.
I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
This is DIY Detail. Today, we're gonna give this beautiful green Lexus a spring makeover.
I don't know why I came out of the car, but I wanted to symbolize a change, an opening of the door to new possibilities. Green is the symbol of hope, and today we are rejuvenating, revitalizing the paint on this Lexus 350.
Right.
RX 350.
Could be, yes. It's
What's
a Lexus.
the model name? RX 350.
RX 350. So, but what we're gonna be doing today is a nice deep cleaning, a decontamination, both mechanical and chemical, and as a bonus, cleaning the underside of the unit.
Wow, so we're really doing this.
Right, this is spring. It's sunny out, it's almost 50 degrees, and it's time to wash the vehicle.
Sounds good to me.
First things first, let's foam it up. We have the Incredible Suds working its magic. We have some all clean on the wheels and tires helping there as well. Now, truth be told, this car is a car wash queen. It has that dreaded sticker in the windshield. And you'll see in a future video, the hood really got attacked by that car wash. So we'll be doing a video just on the hood of this vehicle. It needs it. But that being said, we're gonna get rid of all the contamination on the vehicle. There's no beading in sight at the moment. The Incredible Suds is probably gonna help a little bit with that. And then as we progress through our decontamination, it's gonna get better and better.
All clean on the wheels first or after Incredible Suds? I noticed I went to town on the Incredible Suds. You put the all clean on after. Does it matter which one lays down first?
Not necessarily. These wheels were relatively clean. As I say, this is a car wash queen. It went through the car wash on the way here. Therefore, you know, there's not a lot of grit, there's not a lot of dirt on the surface, but we're going through the motions just to show you what to do. So if your car is dirty, if your car has that winter grit on it, this is how you do it. Now, if it does have that winter grit, if your wheels are nice and dirty, I would start with the all clean first.
And then are we gonna clean the wheels now, or are we gonna rinse, foam again, and then clean?
Rinse and then refoam. The reason we're rinsing first, any grit that's in there, we get rid of it. That way we're not scratching up the paint.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, I mean, you're the king of rinsing. I'm gonna let you go ahead and take care of this. There is a such thing as improper rinsing. Or inefficient rinsing.
Inefficient is better.
All right,
than...
so how do I become a more efficient rinser, Ivan?
Well, we want to work from the top down. Now in this case, we don't want to spray our wall over there too much. So I'm gonna rinse from the front back on the roof to drop it into our drain, which just happens to be there. And then I'll rinse top down. So we almost have beading on the surface, almost. Before going back with another layer of Incredible Suds on the surface, we got this neat little toy here. Picked this up on an online retailer for a very inexpensive amount. Just hooks up to the pressure washer. It's very flexible. It goes where we need it to go. And with this, we can rinse the underside of the vehicle.
Ivan, I know you hate wet feet, so I'm working to squeegee away here.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And basically, this just goes under the vehicle. Make sure when you turn it on, it's under the vehicle, because if not, you're gonna spray the ceiling.
So would you say that getting the undercarriage is over or underrated?
Oh, bad pun. But anyways, it's not overrated and it's not underrated. It's something that should be done. You don't need to do it every day. You don't need to do it every time you wash the car. In the winter and in the spring, as we're finalizing that, getting rid of that salt, we don't have any salt left on the roads, so now we can take the salt off of our vehicle. During the winter, it's not a bad thing to do either. Next, another little layer of Incredible Suds, just to give us that extra lubrication when we're washing.
My new favorite way to clean wheels, start at the valve stem and go around in a clockwise motion. The wheel and body brush is excellent for cleaning wheel faces.
Watch yourself, Nick. I just don't want to get
yeah.
you foamed up here.
I appreciate that.
While we have a little bit of Incredible Suds in here, we have half an ounce in the bucket. Let's just foam up that bucket. Nothing like a bucket of suds in the morning.
It's worth noting on any vehicle, especially if we're doing a deep clean, we could have done some iron remover on the wheels first thing, and we didn't, but you definitely can. So it's a way to deep clean your wheels if that's something you're into.
Yeah, and these wheels, like we say, this car goes through the car wash very, very frequently, so there's not that much accumulation on the wheels as well.
So what's my big goal here with the spring refresh?
So the spring refresh is just to make sure we have additional lubrication on the surface. And today we'll be using the Legacy Sponge.
Wait, you're telling me you can use the Legacy Sponge with Incredible Suds?
Yes, you can.
How does that work?
Well, works exceptionally well.
I thought it was a rinseless wash sponge, Ivan.
No, it's a Legacy Sponge. When you're washing, be it with the sponge, be it with a mitt, you want to be very methodical. So you can see where we foamed looks this way. Where I've washed, we can see where we've washed. And when you're washing with a sponge or a mitt, you need to be careful to not do something like this. So now you can see where I've missed. So by being methodical, I know that I'm not going to be missing any areas. And you can visually trace to see where you've been.
You know how I know Ivan and Sylvia are in the building? There's a wheel bucket on both sides of the vehicle. What am I doing carrying? Why don't these have wheels on them, by the way?
We're not there yet, but we're close.
We're close.
Nick, while you have the wheel and body brush close by, this very three-dimensional grill could benefit from using that brush.
A lot of people don't think you can use this brush on a vehicle. They think just on the wheels.
No, and we call it a wheel and body brush for a reason.
It gets into all of those grooves. Those can be such a pain to clean, huh?
Exactly.
But it's actually safe on paint as well.
It definitely is. The flag tip nylon ends on the brush are very, very soft. We had a friend here the other day making a video, and he was trying to scratch the paint. He tried, and he tried, and he tried. It wasn't working with any of the brushes we have here, including the wheel or the tire scrubbing brush. So brushes are a lot safer than people perceive them to be.
Absolutely. So while Ivan is washing that side, what we're gonna do now is our decontamination process using iron remover and our perforated synthetic decontamination towel. One spray on the panel, get it primed there. One spray on the towel, deposit the towel exactly where I sprayed on the paint. And this is gonna start to lift some of those above surface contaminants, Ivan.
Definitely, and one of the things that you'll notice on this vehicle, Nick, as you're going around, especially at the rear end of the vehicle, the emblem is just encrusted in dirt. And that is from going through the car wash on a regular basis. The car wash cleans somewhat, rinses somewhat, and dries somewhat. But in those tight areas, it's very difficult for the car wash to get any of that out of there. So we're gonna need to do a few additional decontamination steps around the emblem.
Yeah, people may have heard of a clay bar, but this is actually our quote-unquote clay towel. Not actually clay.
No, and even clay bars are not clay.
I use one side of this towel per panel. Now, Ivan, if you get something really deep in there, I've heard you say in the past, no pressure, give it a lot of passes, but if it doesn't look like it's moving, just leave the iron remover on that surface and come back to it in a bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can feel it going smooth under the towel. I see this one little black dot. I feel like I've shaved it down by about half. I'm gonna let the iron remover work on that for a bit. So, one side of the towel, boom, boom. We actually have 4 sides of the towel. So essentially you can think about it like 4 panels worth. And I've still got the lubrication from the Incredible Suds here, so Boom, boom. It's kind of mind-blowing to people, Ivan. They don't think this process works.
No, until they actually try it for themselves. And when that happens, mind blown.
What a great way to do maintenance washes, too, on vehicles that you may have as a professional detailer, too.
Exactly.
That you may see periodically. Don't forget to do the glass, right?
No, it makes the windows much, much easier to clean.
It is nice to hit the paint when the Incredible Suds is a little fresher for a little more lubrication as well.
Right. But you can also take the sponge and add a little more if you need it.
Yep, just kind of drop it on the panel, right?
Right, like up here, you're a little dry, so let me help you out.
Oh, thank you.
You did the front fender already?
Did the front fender,
Okay.
did the glass, haven't done the roof, so just basically done this side. And you can dunk your perforated synthetic decontamination towel back in your wash bucket if you like. It's gonna get your wash bucket smelling like iron remover, which is not the best smell in the world, but I've used my 4 sides. Just gonna dip it back in. And there we go. And I'm ready to keep rocking and rolling. The one thing we do not want you to do with this towel is to apply any pressure at all.
No, the less pressure you use, the better it's gonna work. And speaking of things we'd like you to do, if you like this channel, if you'd like to support us, there's one thing you can do. What is that, Nick?
Subscribe, it's free, and it's fun. You're gonna feel like you're supporting us and you don't have to spend a dime.
And hey, you get more content. You can even hit the notification bell.
We come out with a new long form video on Sundays, Wednesdays, and we podcast every Friday. We sprinkle in videos every day of the week, so the more you know, the better you are.
Exactly.
At detailing, anyway. Actually, can you know too much about detailing?
Nick, I've been detailing for over 40 years, and I can tell you I'm still learning every day.
But what about overthinking?
Overthinking is a competitive sport in detailing that unfortunately a lot of people want to compete in. And we're trying to eliminate that, or we're trying to reduce that by making it easy, simple, fun, and easy to follow.
I love that.
And luckily this vehicle doesn't have a lot of contamination on it. We mentioned this emblem, and we're gonna be attacking the emblem a couple different times. So I have the iron remover here. I'm gonna put 1 spray of the iron remover, or 2, and just agitate with the wheel and body brush in different directions around that emblem to get deep into and around it. Then when we do the next decontamination step, we'll do that as well. Then when we're done, we'll have a nice, clean, crisp looking emblem.
I mean, this looks really good, this paint, but it's covered in water, so is this one of those cases where looks can be deceptive?
Looks can be very deceptive. This is paint that is hydrophilic, and hydrophilic means it absorbs water. It's holding onto it. And a lot of people confuse beading and sheeting, and this is not sheeting. This is hydrophilic. A product that sheets is not hydrophilic, it's hydrophobic, just in a different way. But this is literally holding onto the water, giving it that glassy look, with great reflection and everything, but as soon as this dries, it doesn't look so good.
It's even one of those cases where you have really nasty paint. When it gets wet, it looks really good, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, it doesn't need to be polished at all. And you find to clean it, apply panel prep to it, right? When you're trying to evaluate a vehicle for how bad is it really? It starts out nasty, you're washing it, not so bad. By the time it's dried and panel prepped, it's like, whoa. So this is when it's gonna look its best, is when it's wet.
Right, and this one, when it's dry, trust me, it doesn't look good at all. But what we're gonna be doing is water spot remover, and with the water spot remover, people think this has some form of sealant in it. It doesn't. No waxes, no sealants, no ceramic. It is just removing that layer of minerals that's built up. And if you're going through a car wash on a regular basis, you get a very big buildup of minerals because there's no one with a towel drying the car. It's going through blowers. Part of that water gets blown off the vehicle, but a big part of it just gets evaporated and dried on the vehicle, and the minerals that are in that water cause this.
Let's see what you're gonna do. What tricks do you have up your sleeve? Just one product.
I have no tricks.
Water spot remover.
But notice, we have immediate beadings happening.
There's a couple ways to use water spot remover.
Yeah.
You can just spray it on the paint. or you can spray it on and lightly agitate it in. What is your preference today?
Here's the towel to agitate.
Okay.
That answer your question?
Usually we dip this in rinseless. Can it just be a dry towel?
No, you want a wet towel. You can put it in the Incredible Suds bucket. It's going to do as good a job as rinseless.
I just say rinseless because we love rinseless around here.
It's like saying, which of your kids do you prefer?
We love them both.
Right, exactly.
And you don't ever want to move the side of your towel. Like usually when you wipe with a towel, you're always going to flip sides.
Right.
Here you just want the water spot remover on the towel. You're just trying to spread it, essentially.
Yeah.
And we already have clean paint, so we don't have to worry about switching sides or driving anything in.
I haven't done this side.
You haven't done that side yet. It's a redundancy thing too, right? The towel?
Right. We often talk about CHAT. Chemical, heat, agitation, and time. In this case, we're not using any heat. We are using a chemical. We're going to be using agitation and a bit of time.
Don't be intimidated, folks. It's super simple. CHAT is just a basic principle of cleaning, whether you're in your kitchen or in your driveway or garage. And dwell time is a huge pillar of cleaning, and that's that T in CHAT. So the dwell time is great for the water spot remover. But let's say when you're misting it on, you might have missed a spot.
Right.
I'm just working it in, making sure we're gonna get even coverage as we continue that dwell time.
Exactly. And yes, we're not flipping the towel. We're not even worried about the towel because we have really just finished cleaning this surface. We've decontaminated it. We've gone over many, many times. If there's grit left on the surface, we really have a problem. And that problem is our technique. Nick, this is a prime example that this vehicle had no water spots on it at all. We couldn't see any water spots on it.
And yet we used water spot remover.
Right. Water spot remover is an industry accepted term for a mineral dissolver. And that's actually what we're doing here. So we're removing the minerals that could cause water spots, but in this case was just hiding the paint behind this little blanket of minerals.
It's a great way to prep for polishing, for ceramic coating, or just to do a deep dive clean on your paint.
Exactly. Like a spring cleaning almost.
What do you have in your hand there, Ivan?
I've got the wheel and body brush. I'm gonna go back to that emblem with the water spot remover to get in there and get those minerals out that the car wash just happened to leave in abundance.
You're a wild man.
So yes, I've used an abundance of a water spot remover here because I'm going to be working it in all forms and directions just to make sure that I'm getting all sides of this nice chrome emblem here. I have no pressure on it. It's not a pressure thing, it's an agitation thing. And by going in different directions, different ways, I'll work the water spot remover in adequately around the emblem. Like I mentioned before, it'll come out shiny. The water spot remover is dried on the surface. We're not concerned about that. We're not working in direct sunlight. If you are working in direct sunlight, you'll want to break it up into a few smaller pieces. But watch the beading come back. Definitely not beading like it had a ceramic coating on it, but we have a lot better water action than we did just a couple minutes ago. On the paint of the vehicle, we're not going to be using a drying aid because we're going to be polishing and doing other things to it. But on the wheels, I definitely want some good old quick beads to make them easier to dry, easier to clean, much easier to maintain in the future. And also the wheel wells.
What are you doing with that quick beads in the wheel wells, Ivan?
Makes them easier to clean the next time.
Ivan, I could squeegee all day in here.
I know, it's fun. This polished floor is actually fun to squeegee. And speaking of squeegees, Nick, you're gonna need this.
Oh, the old squeegee towel method, huh?
Right, since we're not using a drying aid, this makes our drying towel a lot easier to do.
You use this as your squeegee and then the other one to absorb most of the water, right?
Exactly. And speaking of the other one, a drying blanket.
Squeegee method with the drying blanket. So explain this to me.
Well, first of all, let's see if we actually need the little squeegee towel, because the drying blanket is incredible on its own.
You're like a Boy Scout, you always come prepared.
And yeah, no need for the squeegee. Okay, we're good. But if your vehicle is particularly difficult to dry, you have a lot of standing water on it, using a first little towel beforehand allows you to get a lot of that excess moisture off, acting somewhat like a squeegee, and then you can go forward with your drying towel.
Yeah, it's doing an exceptional job, the drying blanket, you're right.
So while we could overthink it and overcomplicate it, in this case, we don't need to.
I like overcomplicating things, Ivan.
It's part of your MO.
More towels, more products, more time. That's not the way Ivan teaches. We're here to save you time and make this easy. Because honestly, if it's easy, there's a good chance you're gonna do it more often, right? Or have the courage to do it in the first place.
Yeah, you know, detailing is not a complicated task. Detailing should be fun. It should be something you want to do. It shouldn't feel like a chore.
When you're starting out, it might seem like a lot, but you're sort of building a foundation. And as you build that foundation, the other stuff is not as overwhelming.
No.
Like you get yourself a pressure washer and you learn a couple of techniques that seem to work really well. You use them. And then you're able to troubleshoot as you go along. You have a system that works for you, and it's kind of your armor in battle.
Nick, a wise man once told me that if you're going to eat an elephant, do it one bite at a time.
I always have the beginner in mind, because some of you have been detailing for years and you like hanging out with us and learning stuff, and there's other people who are just getting into detailing, and so it's like, don't be intimidated. You don't have the drying blanket. That's why that squeegee method can work well. Maybe you just have the towels you're using at home. Maybe you haven't touched any of our products and you're just like, how do I actually accomplish this on my own vehicle? These basic principles apply, and we talk about some of the same stuff in every video, different variables for different vehicles, but once you start doing this on your own vehicle or on other people's vehicles, it starts to make sense. But you have to do it. You have to touch the cars and the towels and use the chemicals, and then it's like, oh, I get what they're saying. Only so much can be transmitted through video, so I encourage you, get out there and have fun.
And speaking of getting out there and having fun, this is a video you might want to watch.
Oh yeah, it's right here. Check it out.